Hello everyone, that's Jamie.
And that's Brandon.
And we need movies. This is a show we talk about movies of the week theatrically, movies I bought on Blu-ray, movie news, movie trailers, all kinds of crazy good stuff.
Lots of good stuff.
So let's start it off. Oh my gosh. Dude, I'm
we were gonna
premature.
Do
yeah, I'm sorry.
We're gonna do books.
We're gonna do novel to film adaptations because of The Girl on the Train, but we figured as we started researching, there's just so many, this would be an absolute useless list. So to confine it, make it a little smaller, make it a little more manageable, we're gonna do Ben Affleck, a man that we both want to do. Did I say we're gonna do Ben Affleck?
We can do him.
We're gonna talk about Ben Affleck's filmography, the movies he's starred in, the movies he's directed. I'm a Ben Affleck apologist. I even care for a few of the films that are considered pretty terrible in his filmography. So we'll talk about those later. Let's get into movies of the week. Jamie, did you watch anything in theaters?
Yes. Yes, I did.
What'd you see?
Miss Peregrine's Home for the Peculiar Children.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Tell me about it, man.
So, okay, going in knowing nothing about the book, nothing about... we watched the trailer. I forgot all about the trailer. It looked cool. I remember liking... Like, I remember... Oh, that seems like a fun. And it definitely feels more like his older films in a way on the trailer side. So the film, it feels like another... you know, it's all CGI now. I mean, there's some cool... always costumes. I think it's Colleen Atwood. He works with her a lot. She does a lot of cool costume design and stuff. But it just... The story kind of surprised me. I didn't expect there'd be a time travel element to it.
Okay.
Where there's like these time loops where these... I can't remember what they call them. They're essentially people who can... There's ladies who control time. There's some term they use. And they turn to birds and shit. So like she's a peregrine falcon for real.
Okay.
And then but they keep these children safe, peculiar children. It's almost like X-Men, Xavier's mutant class.
Yeah.
Keeps them in this certain day. Every day. It's a time loop.
Right.
So like for their example, I think it was September 8th, 1943. They're always in that day. And then the bombs drop on the house. Like they live in that night.
Yeah. So
every night you watch it, it rewinds the whole day and starts over. It's really cool. They live forever. They never age. This out of time. It's a really cool concept. Asa Butterfield was pretty cool. I mean, I haven't seen anything he's ever been in.
Really?
Never seen Ender's Game. Never seen Hugo. He's Hugo, right?
Yeah, he's Hugo. Yeah.
Ava Green is cool in it.
Okay.
I mean, there's some other supporting cast, like Judi Dench is in there for a little bit. Not a lot going on.
Of the last Tim Burton couple films, where would you rank this, I guess? I mean, is it better than Alice? Is it better than Dark Shadows?
I liked it a lot better than Alice. Dark Shadows had its elements. I still think this is a better film overall. It can be confusing. I went with a couple friends. One of them came out not knowing what the fuck was going on. Even if what I assumed he had a problem with is very simple to figure out. But whatever. I gotta say one thing, though. It's really weird. So they do British people as American accents all the time. I have never been more disturbed with one particular case.
Okay.
Chris O'Dowd.
Yeah.
Who's known for, he's like a Scottish?
I believe he's Scottish.
Wow, this is fucking weird.
So wait,
he speaks an American accent.
He speaks an American accent. Wow.
It's disturbing.
Is it really weird?
It's really off-putting because we've always known him. He's even in Bridesmaids. He's never like had a role where he's not done the accent.
I guess not. No, he almost sounds like it's almost like a thick Canadian accent though too. It's almost like that's what's funny about it. I don't know.
But it was weird.
Okay.
He did a great job. I mean, it sounded like an American actor, but it's just weird.
Weird to hear.
Because I know it's not true.
Yeah, exactly. Lies.
Oh, but it's all right. It's fun. Not knowing anything about the story. I didn't have any expectations. It's usually what happens with me.
Yeah.
I go in like, and it always fucking loses.
But this one was okay.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
All right. I checked out The Girl on the Train.
You did?
I did. Emily Blunt stars as this woman named Rachel who's like a functioning alcoholic pretty much. She drinks all the time out of this like sippy, exactly. No, but she is really broken and like has this terrible past of alcohol abuse and what it did to her marriage with Justin Theroux. And now she takes this train to work every day and she becomes obsessed with this couple and she makes up this fantasy for them in her head. And then when she sees something she doesn't necessarily like, it makes something snap in her because she's reminded of her past. The next day, she wakes up after not knowing what happened. She's blacked out because she blacks out often, and the woman in this couple has gone missing. And so it's basically about her trying to figure out, did I kill this woman? Then like it escalates from there, and you know, you start to suspect a lot of these characters. Luke Evans. what's her name from Mission
Bennett?
Impossible 5? Yeah, she's Haley Bennett from
Haley Bennett.
Hardcore Henry is the woman in the couple, and something from Mission Impossible 5. She was pretty bad. Rebecca Ferguson is also in it. A really good supporting cast. Allison Janney also in there. It feels a little bit Lifetimey in certain parts, but it's not. But I wouldn't say it's as good as like The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo or Gone Girl, but it's pretty close. Like I was entertained. The one thing I did kind of dislike about it was its editing structure and style. Like I liked how it used where it was jumping back and forth in time, but it would do the thing where it would jump back in time and then it would say 2 weeks later. And then so I was wondering, is this 2 weeks later from back in time or back from the future? And there are times where you don't know which part takes place in front of what. And I guess that works to its advantage in some points. But it became like kind of confusing. Like I'm like, I don't know where we are at this point in time. And some weird use of frame rates. Like this, it makes it look really like weird and kind of ugly looking. There are shots where it's like, to show I guess she's kind of drunk, it'll like slow the frame rate down, and it just looks really weird and gross. But other than that, like I like the ending has like a bunch of different twists that start to reveal, and even if you can kind of figure it out a little earlier, it's still pretty fun. It's like dark and twisted. I didn't expect it to go as far as it did with some of the violence and stuff that happens in it, but yeah, it's a good movie. Not quite as good as Gone Girl, but if you're in that type of like mood, it's a decent watch.
I was gonna watch it.
I was gonna say I would recommend seeing it with someone because you're gonna want to talk about it after. Like it's a movie that I feel like you'll need to watch twice to get everything. But it's like, I don't know if I want to watch it anytime soon, like maybe in a bit, but it's fun. It's an entertaining little mystery, I guess. Did you watch anything else new, Jamie?
Well, we watched American Werewolf in London.
That's right, that was new to him. I hadn't seen this in a good 10 years, so it was actually fun to revisit. And the transfer on this Blu-ray, the remastered edition, was flawless, really good.
What a great time.
But tell me about it, Jamie. So I was, like I said, I haven't seen this probably 10 years. What was your, what was it like seeing this for the first time, I guess?
Yeah, so I have seen the transformation scene a couple times, and I've seen the scene where he's dreaming where these werewolf Nazis bust in the house.
Yeah, they're like Nazi mutant creature things, yeah.
But I saw that in the context. This is what happens if you rip off a song. The MPAA that comes to your house, and it was really funny. No, I had a great time. I didn't know it was such a fun. It was definitely like more comedic than I thought it would be. Mm-hmm. You know, John Landis at that point, Animal House, Blues Brothers. He had a comedic background, and he finally got a chance, like you said, to make a film. He had wrote this a long time, right? Before 82?
Before those, yeah.
So, yeah, he got to make it. It was cool how much of more of a comedic element it had. I didn't know. The character's really fun, especially how his friend keeps coming back from the dead, talking to him, progressively getting shittier, and the makeup effects are so good still.
Fantastic.
Hold up so well.
Jamie, you were also really digging the nurse.
Yeah.
Really
she was a councilwoman in Avengers or something like that.
Yeah, we found out later because you had to like IMDb her.
Her voice is beautiful.
Yeah, she's pretty beautiful.
British woman, man.
Makes sense. I watched the documentaries and stuff on the Blu-ray and learned a bunch of stuff. Like this was the first movie to win the Oscar for Best Makeup. Like this, yeah. And so it kind of set the precedent, I guess, for later stuff. But I thought it would have been like some artsy fartsy.
That was
movie.
The first year the makeup.
First
Oscar?
year the makeup Oscar was given out was to this movie. Yeah.
Cool.
Rick Baker. This was one of his first movies ever. He actually was, funny enough, was signed on to do The Howling and was going to do it and did some of it, but had to like turn it over because John Landis had like forced him. He's like, no, you're doing my, because I guess they had talked about this for years, and he's like, no, you're getting off whatever you're doing and you're coming to do my movie now, no matter what. And so it was like funny because they're kind of like shit talking each other, but still friendly.
I'm glad he did.
It's good. Yeah. Oh, absolutely. But yeah, and we also realized how like it's very brisk and it just like ends. Like,
yep.
Yeah.
Pretty much. I saw 5 movies this week.
Damn.
Yeah, I rewatched. I'm really behind on my blog 52 pickup where I talk about old films I grew up with, and I realized I had a lot of horror films anyway, so I was like, oh, well, I'll use that advantage. Now it's October, I'll bust them out a little faster and catch up. Well, I watched Idle Hands. I did not remember how, like, it's a really well done, like, nod to the horror films, in that type of shooting. That's like really interesting, like how they do like a lot of like push-ins, like quick push-ins and all that crazy. And it's really well done. Mm-hmm. I kind of forgot a lot about this movie. I don't remember Jessica Alba. her ass.
Seth Green.
Seth Green and Eldon Henson kind of just being really funny, and they made me want to keep an eye on Eldon Henson's career, which is funny because I've been following him ever since. Like, he was in Butterfly Effect a little bit.
Yep.
Then he eventually became Foggy and Daredevil on Netflix, and it was like, oh fuck, I love this guy from Idle Hands. Like, it was always like that kind of thing. But the film's really fun, really gory parts. I forgot about that. Devon Sawa, man, Devon Sawa.
Devon Soya. I thought it was Soya. I don't know. Yeah, his character is pretty much just a stoner slacker who gets his hand possessed by the devil, essentially, right? Or what is it?
Idle Hands of the Devil's Playground.
There we go.
So, like, he just does nothing with his right hand, left hand. Yeah. So anyway, it becomes like murderous while he's like sleeping. It kills people, and you start out with his parents. One of them, the father's Fred Willard.
Yep.
And he murders them, and then he doesn't know what happened, and so he's like just slogging around the house. He's like, making a sandwich with like a bloody knife he killed his mom with or whatever. And then it goes to crazy extremes, and Vivica A. Fox plays like this hunter.
Yep.
Who is trying to stop this hand, and I guess it's moved on, or the devil has been killing people in this area in the Southwest, and it ends up being like a pentagram on the map. She's like, wait a minute, and look at these spots. Like, you'd have to be really clever, like to draw a circle around.
It's so good, yeah. No, but the movie is quintessential 90s. Like, it is so, like, from him watching Rob Zombie music videos and like
soundtrack.
Yes, the soundtrack. Yeah, The Offspring. It's so 90s.
Well, not even that. The score is Graham Revell.
Okay.
Like Daredevil, a lot of shit in the late 90s, early 2000s. Really cheesy shit.
Yeah.
That was what I didn't like about the most. But man, yeah, The Offspring are in the film.
Yep.
I talked about it in my blog, but this film started my obsession with like IMDb.
Really? Okay.
So around the same time this came out, there was this website called The Oracle. It would do 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon in like a web version.
Okay.
So you can, using IMDb, you can link 2 actors and try to find the quickest connection. And most times, be like, what the? I didn't know that. Like, they were like in this movie together. So I learned a lot about different films. But then, like, one of the names I always used was Dexter Holland, who was the lead singer of Offspring, because he, at the time, had only been in one film. Like, how can they connect to this film? So it became this little game. And yeah, so there you go. It's bizarre.
It's a good movie to watch around Halloween because it's very based around the holiday. It's filled with the decorations and the party at the end and whatnot. It's a fun, if you're looking for a movie that's not your typical, like, horror all week long, you know what I mean, all month long, just try to pop this in. It's pretty fun, especially if you're a horror fan.
You'll see a lot of people you really had a blossoming career after that.
I rewatched 2 movies, okay? I'll get the one that's not a horror out of the way, okay? That's Dallas Buyers Club. I hadn't watched this in a while. I know, that is it really is a depressing, soul-crushing movie with a fantastic performance by both of them. I still feel like DiCaprio did better in Wolf of Wall Street. Like, this is such a physical and emotional performance with him, like, crying and whatnot, and like there's all these scenes of
having sex.
Him having like a typical Oscar movie moment. You know what I mean? Yeah, again and again, and it's like, I get it, and like I can't knock him at all because it's a fucking fantastic performance. But like I was just always pissed that DiCaprio won for The Revenant and not Wolf of Wall Street, and I think that's a better performance than this one. That being said, the movie itself, I love how the side characters, like all of them feel much like Hell or High Water, feel very realistic. Steve Zahn as the cop, Jennifer Garner. It's very well acted. It's directed by the guy who did Wild, and he just did, what was the one you liked? Demolition?
Demolition, yeah.
Yes. Jean-Marc Vallée, I believe.
That's the one.
Again, though the movie itself, I don't think is as good as the performances. The ending's very anticlimactic. There are scenes that don't necessarily need to be there, but for the most part, it's an actor's showcase, and it does it really well. You've seen this, right?
Yeah. Saw it last year.
I was gonna say.
Challenge.
So what do you got next, Jamie?
All right. So I went back. My communal movie on Not Quite Hollywood was Big Fish.
Oh, okay.
So I watched that. Love that movie.
Yep.
Written by John August, directed by Tim Burton, based on a novel. I guess they made a Broadway play after about the film, which is cool. I mean, it makes sense. But it's a film about separating you from fiction, and like the stories we tell are always like stylized or edited in a way to make it more interesting. And what's in like this one plays with the real fantastical part of it, like what metaphorical you know, these twins or these Siamese twins, and then this witch that lives in the end of the town and stuff, in this really nice peaceful town, and it's just a lot of cool. Like, I like the idea of Billy Crudup not really. He's so lost in the adult way of life, and he's heard these stories from his dad. Ewan McGregor is a younger role, and Albert Finney is the older role. Edward Bloom, he's heard the stories all of his life, and he's so frustrated because he wants to know the truth behind his dad's life, as his dad has cancer and is dying. You know, he wants to know, like, the facts. He doesn't want all this flowery bullshit. He wants the real. You know, he believes his dad cheated on his mom and stuff like that. So there's a lot of things going on, and he just doesn't understand. His dad lived like a pretty hard and varied life, but he worked hard to make put dinner on the table for his family. And I think he made these stories up. He made this fantasy of how to tell his stories just because it was happier. It was a happier way of seeing life, and I think that's really what it's about. Is how you perceive life and how you actually kind of celebrate in a way. Celebrate it.
Yeah.
I don't know if that makes any sense.
No, it's one of Tim Burton's more personal movies. You know, you can tell that it meant a lot to him. I love how it shifts between the Ewan McGregor world and how everything looks, and then compared to the world that Billy Crudup and Albert Finney, you know, inhabit. It's an emotional movie too. Like, I remember tearing up. I think the first time I saw it.
I did. I haven't seen it since it came out. Like, I'd watched it as I think I was recovering from leukemia. So, like, the cancer thing, I was like, it was really sad then for me, but no, it wasn't so sad, but it was nice. It was a nice message.
Yeah. Nice, dude.
Tell stories, guys. Be funny.
Well, the movie I rewatched is a movie that I have seen upwards of, 30, 40 times easily. It's Halloween H2O.
Oh, yeah.
Has to be watched pretty much every year. I didn't watch it last year for Halloween.
We watched
Slacking,
the first two.
but we watched a few of them, I was going to say.
1 and 2.
But Halloween H2O is my favorite of the sequels beyond number 2.
Okay.
I've always just loved how also, again, how 90s it is. It's very reminiscent of, because it takes the Halloween franchise and then tries to morph it with, like, Scream and those movies that were coming out at the same time. Came out in 98. And it's also the movie that introduced us to Josh Hartnett and his goddamn hair that doesn't, like, fucking... I just want him to, like, put it down. Like, just... It's, like, coiffed up in the back. It doesn't make sense. No. It's not a human's hair. But anyway...
He's an alien. The faculty's real.
Yeah, exactly. This takes place 20 years after the original movie. It's the H2O, which I always thought was really just stupid, but I've loved this movie.
Halloween water? What the fuck?
Exactly. Since I was a kid, I must have watched this movie seriously 30 or 40 times. I can literally quote it as it goes along. And what's funny is watching this Blu-ray, I used to own the other Blu-ray, but when they came out with the box set, they remastered a lot of these. This one is a good Blu-ray transfer. The other one was terrible. Really? This one, though, shows you how many times they switched the fucking mask in this movie. So there's this whole... I watched the documentary on it when I first bought it. There was this whole controversy of how Steve Miner, who actually directed Friday the 13th Part 2 and Lake Placid, he wanted to make the mask look different in a way that it was just a white mask with zero features at all. And when you do that, it does not look like Michael Myers' mask at all. It looks like a CG weird. It's really weird and off-putting looking. He put that in so much, and then when they were seeing dailies later on, they were like, this isn't what we want. Like, you have to go back and fix the mask because people aren't even going to recognize that as the character or whatever. So they reshot a bunch of those scenes, but some of them they still just left in. So literally within a scene, it'll be 3 different masks that I don't know, like, maybe I've just seen the movie so many times that I've just like, I'm looking for that stuff now. Maybe someone who watched it for the first time wouldn't know, but literally in a scene I was counting, there's 3 different masks within cuts, and it's like crazy. But I don't know, man, I've always just really liked this movie. Another like interesting little fact, John Ottman, who did the music for this, he also wound up doing the music for, I don't know why I know this shit, for Lake Placid, but he directed Urban Legend's Final Cut. He started doing like directing horror movies and whatnot. But anyway, he was going to have this gigantic orchestral version of John Carpenter's theme, but the studio having just released Scream, Dimension took the exact same audio, like the exact same music from the movie, and put it in this because they wanted it to seem more like this. And he was like so pissed off at the final cut, I guess, because it's literally the exact same music used in Scream. So, interestingly enough. But do yourself a favor, check this out. Joseph Gordon-Levitt gets his face smashed in with an ice skate. It's
been so long since I've seen
opening 5 minutes in the movie.
Michelle Williams.
Yeah, Michelle Williams, LL Cool J, dude. Can't go wrong.
I love. That's one of my favorite ones of the series.
It is. It's actually a pretty decent movie. Janet Leigh, who's Jamie Lee Curtis's mother, makes a cameo in this in the actual Psycho car, which is cool too.
Oh,
it's got a lot of hints to like previous movies in the Halloween franchise. Because that's the other thing is like it completely deletes 3, 4, and 5. Like it just goes
because 5's so good. Or no,
4. Oh no, 6. Yeah, with Paul Rudd.
That's a really good one. Curse of Michael Myers.
Yes.
Really good. Donald Pleasance.
Yeah. But that's all that I watched, Jamie. Do you got any more?
I do.
All right, get us up.
Yeah, I guess I realized Big Fish wasn't totally Halloween, but it was And but Beetlejuice.
Oh, so you were on a Tim Burton kick there,
Well,
dude.
because that was like another one I had to watch for my
Yeah.
my challenge thing. So, Beetlejuice, man, we watched it last year. Every time I watch it, I feel like I'm a kid again. Like it's so well done in terms of like even the cheesy special effects back then were still interesting. Like you can tell like when they're green screened, like when he's looking up at he's a miniature in the miniature town and looking up at Alec Baldwin and Gina Davis. You can see like where the green screen cut off, or when his head's getting shrunk at the end. Like you can see it look like really poorly cut out and
or the sandworms,
Saturn.
Yeah.
Michael Keaton, man, I would like to see them make the new one they've been trying to make for a while, but I just don't feel like it's going to be good. I'd be so afraid to see what they do. They ruin it.
Yeah.
Beetlejuice on its own stands the test of time and doesn't need a sequel. We had the cartoon show. That was good enough. It wasn't bad. It wasn't for kids, of course, but good stuff.
Nice.
I have nothing to say about it.
No, I mean, that's, again, we're talking movies that define their era. That's a classic 80s horror comedy. I've loved that movie since I was a kid. And yeah, I think that will be a timeless movie that people revisit 20, 30 years from now. They'll continue to have re-releases of its anniversary editions, and it's just a staple in pop culture for America. Is that all you watched?
That's more than usual.
I know, dude. No, that's not degrading it at all. Yeah, exactly. 4 more pages and shit.
500,000 movies.
Well, let's move on to the Blu-rays, dude. I got a pretty good little haul this week. Okay, so the first one up, Shout Factory released 2 titles this week. I picked up one.
The one I'm thinking of.
I think so, man. Is it The Thing?
No,
is that what you were thinking of? But yeah, but no, it was The Thing. Awesome. Carrie came out and The Thing. I already have Carrie. I like Carrie a lot, but not enough to double dip. I did double dip on this. I already own the previous version on Blu-ray, but this has a brand new 2K scan of the movie, which is going to look really good. I've also popped in the special features and was watching some of the documentaries. They got new interviews with Kurt Russell, John Carpenter, because again, Shout Factory, Scream Factory, they care about you, the consumer. They pack this shit full of content. But yeah, and it's got the alternate artwork on the inside, the original poster artwork. Again, this is probably my favorite sci-fi horror movie ever made. I love the effects so much. They freaked me out as a kid. I love revisiting this movie. I can watch this before Halloween or during Christmas just because I love the winter feel of it. Set in the Antarctic. I think they shot it in Alaska and parts of like British Columbia and whatnot. But this is a movie that you can tell it's fucking cold on set. You can tell these guys are going through the shit. Kurt Russell, all these characters, it's a completely all male cast, not a single female in the entire movie.
Good.
Whoa.
Just kidding, people.
No, but that lends itself to this like authenticity of this crew of guys like just in the middle of the Antarctic at this research station in the middle of nowhere. And then an alien life form inhabits one of them and could become anything. It's a shapeshifter, becomes anything, but the transformation scenes in this, the dog performance, the best dog performance ever in a movie by far.
Hey,
like,
Hachi, a dog.
Hachi, Marley, and me, they got nothing on fucking this dog. Like, it's crazy. He
told me you wouldn't.
Eye lines and shit the dog can match, and like movements with steady. Like, it's crazy. Like, this dog really knows its shit.
Homeward Bound.
I dropped the fucking mic. But The Thing, fantastic movie. If you haven't seen it for some crazy reason, definitely check up on it.
I watched that one in 2010, and then I watched the remake.
Okay.
Way better than the remake. I mean, like, remake's not even, it's pointless.
Again.
But the remake had that issue where they did all the practical effects and then last minute said, fuck it.
Yeah.
Which sucks.
Which I'd like to see that version of
cool.
the effects. I bet it's pretty fucking awesome. This is the first movie that really put practical effects right in front of you for like long periods of time. The Alien had done it, but this on this level never before done. Like, and it's a visceral, crazy experience. Like, it's fun to watch, and it's like they don't make movies like this anymore.
No, unfortunately.
I've been picking up some horror titles I've been wanting to, and I picked up Crimson Peak.
Okay.
This is a movie that came out. I watched it last year, and I thought it was okay, but it wasn't a movie I wanted to pay full price or even half price, really. So I waited for this to drop significantly. It's like $7. I was like, you know what? I want to revisit it. I like Guillermo del Toro, and I know the movie comes with a bunch of features on here, which I'm more interested in actually than revisiting the movie itself.
Yeah.
But I love the set design. I love the horror atmosphere. The performances are good. The story's okay. It's just like, it's fairly forgettable, and it was kind of a letdown for what I had anticipated, but
yeah,
I kind of want to rewatch it. Like, it's a movie that I feel like I'll rewatch, probably not even this month, but where it was so cheap and it's, you know, fairly new, I figured I'd pick it up.
biggest problem was marketing for that film.
Yeah.
They marketed it more as a horror, and it wasn't. It's
more like a
romance,
romantic drama thriller, supernatural. It's a bunch of stuff.
Sure,
But good performances, though, you know what I mean?
Alice in Wonderland herself.
Shut up. And then I picked up October Sky.
Yeah.
It's a Best Buy exclusive for now. So yeah, that's the only place you can pick this up. I haven't seen this movie in a good 10 years, but I remember loving it as a kid, watching it a bunch of times. This came out in like 99. Yeah, 98. Sorry. Chris Cooper.
Probably 99. I don't know.
Jake Gyllenhaal. Look at little Gyllenhaal's face there.
Oh, he's
like,
so
you know
young.
he's gonna grow up and be a wonderful man.
It's just such a great movie. It's weird. It's a period piece, which I usually hate.
Yeah.
And it's a drama, which I usually don't care for. it's like all right.
All these things are
really good.
not going to be against you. I haven't seen this in a while. Directed by Joe Johnston too. October Sky. I don't know when I'll wind up actually watching this again, but it is a movie that I know I'll want to revisit someday. And it's a good movie to show your kids if you want to start showing them more mature stuff. That's not, you know.
It's a good
family movie.
early teen movie to watch. It's really cool.
Yeah. Then I picked up 2 steelbooks. Okay, now these steelbooks I've been wanting for a while. They dropped in price significantly, and I snatched them, bro. One of them I couldn't find forever, and I was willing to pay like $20 because I love the artwork so much.
Okay.
The other one I was like...
Are these films you have already?
One is I've never seen Young Frankenstein.
Oh,
never seen it. I'm gonna watch it this month. This is a beautiful looking steelbook. Yeah, Mel Brooks classic. I've heard nothing but good things, and I've seen a few scenes here and there. Yeah, I'm sure it's good, and I can't wait to finally check this out on Blu-ray. But the one that I double dipped on, I just love the artwork so much, and it's a movie that is a personal favorite of mine, and it's Edward Scissorhands. Like, check out the artwork, right? Yeah, it looks really nice. Really nice.
Speaking of Tim Burton.
Yeah, speaking of Tim Burton, this is the 25th anniversary edition. There's no new content on here, but there is a new transfer, I think. And yeah, I'm just, you know, it was cheap. And my other version of it was the very first, like, they set out like the very first wave of Blu-rays that came out. So
Experience 1080p, high definition.
exactly, yeah. I'm glad to finally have this. This is a movie that I think I'll probably be displaying once I eventually have more space to display all my favorite steelbooks.
Once you have more space.
More space someday.
You have 6 shelves.
What more do you
4
need?
massive ones.
Leave
And
me
2
alone.
fucking... Oh, actually, no, 7. Sorry,
Technically, those
dude.
ones too, yeah, dude.
Didn't.
Darkness. All right, tell me what we've got on movie trailers and news. There's a lot of trailers this week, dude.
I didn't see a single one.
Oh, shit.
It's like, oh, fuck that one.
Yeah, done. Never mind.
So, an earlier one, interesting, smaller concept film. It looks like it's really low budget. The Monster? Did you see that?
Boring. No, I didn't. I saw the poster, though.
Oh. So
Because it's a foreign movie, right?
I don't know.
Okay.
It's,
There's no audio in
It's
it?
an American cast.
Oh, okay. Then maybe not.
I think this girl, I don't know this girl really well. I think she might be in Girls. Zoe Kazan or Kazan.
It sounds like a familiar name, but I don't know.
I don't know. She's an actress. She's like watching over his kid, and their car's stranded. I think it might be her own kid. The car's stranded in the middle of nowhere, and there's like this really creepy monster around and fucking with them while they're in the car. It's not been done before in this sense. It really does seem low budget though.
Yeah.
It looks interesting.
Okay.
I'd watch it.
Do you see any of the monster? I'm assuming no.
You see, quick flash, like he breaks the window and tries choking her or something.
Okay.
Spoilers in the trailer, I guess.
No, we're not at that level. We're not at that level yet.
Yeah. So I mean, it looks all right.
Okay.
A sequel, a trailer for a sequel came out. John Wick Chapter 2.
So excited, dude.
Holy shit.
Speaking of movies that did fine in the box office, but were huge hits on DVD and Blu-ray. Like this movie made double its budget or whatever they were saying on like home video releases, and I was so happy when I heard that they were making a second one because I love this movie, dude. It was so simple, really cool world building.
Plays up the international travel vibe.
Yep.
These cliche movies. It's so funny. It looks like a great time though.
Yeah.
The hotel guy returns. I can't remember his name.
Yes, the hotel guy, both of them, the concierge and Ian McShane, I think is also in there.
Because he was the one that had the son that was like, you don't want to fucking mess with him.
Common is now the lead enemy. These remind me of those old 80s movies that were coming out all the time.
With Seagal and Van Damme.
Exactly, but it's a high quality, good one.
Modern day version of that.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
It is.
I'm excited. The Great Wall. Second trailer came out. So did we talk about this?
No, we never did. We never did.
Did the first trailer reveal any of that? I didn't know it was about fucking fighting these monsters.
No, I have no idea. It's about monsters, dude? Dude, this is what I'll say. Every single time I go to watch the trailer, I see the poster of Matt Damon in the ponytail. I can't do it, dude. I can't. I don't want to see him in a ponytail. I don't want to see him in action in this movie.
It's so bad.
Is it really? Because like
it's bizarre. So it's this famous Chinese director behind it. First American English language film. It says worldwide star Matt Damon in the trailer.
Well, he is.
They build the wall, and then if you look at the tagline of the poster, something 1,700 years to build, 5,500 miles long. What are they trying to keep out? It's a horde of monsters.
Really?
Like lizard-like monsters. Like what?
Really?
And it's a battle to save the world.
I thought this movie was about like why they built the Great Wall and like a historical like.
And then that's
really they're lizard monsters.
I was fucking blown away.
I'm gonna watch the trailer now.
I'm gonna watch probably the movie now. I mean, it's just so bad. It's kind of
That's
really fun.
crazy, dude.
And he has a really shitty hair. Like when it's
No, I told you, like
he woke up like out of bed.
it
It's all
looks
fucked
so
up in the back.
stupid. I couldn't bring myself to watch it. Now that it's about fucking lizard monsters, though,
Yeah.
I'm definitely watching it.
I couldn't believe it. I was like, what?
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Bad, but I want to see. Okay,
Great,
all right.
great bad.
We'll talk about that later.
Because
Then.
there was a whole controversy like, oh, he's an American actor in a movie about Chinese.
Which I thought that too, and then like, but now I know that it's about monsters. Who gives a shit? It's just Matt Damon fighting lizard creatures in China. Like,
Just him and his fucking friend that come up to the Chinese and like, what the fuck's going on? Oh, we're fucking fighting some monsters, dude. Come over. And then Willem Dafoe's in it. A small role. Like, what?
yes, dude.
It's bizarre.
I'm in.
Bizarre. And one that blew me fucking away. I didn't know this was happening. Get Out.
Oh my god, dude. Yes.
Jordan Peele wrote and directed a horror film, which somebody described as like, essentially a Key and Peele sketch without any comedy. Like this black guy is going to meet his white girlfriend's parents for the first time ever, and like there's this really weird like craziness behind like their family. Like they have a couple of like not slaves but slaves. On
Yeah,
the
they're
property.
helpers around the property. Paid help.
Bizarre, and like there's like something against like super like racist undertones behind like the horror of this film.
Sure.
Interesting.
Very interesting. This fucking blew me away. No, you're right. I am so excited to see this. It has such cool imagery. I love where it goes, like with where most movies would never touch, and it's produced by the Blumhouse, so it should be fairly modestly budgeted, but a pretty decent movie. And I'm so happy that you can hear his voice in the background. He does a mind is a terrible thing to waste. Like you can tell it's him. He's doing like, but I'm so happy that Jordan Peele gets the chance to direct and write a horror movie. He's obsessed with horror movies. He's talked about always wanted to make them, and no one took him seriously, and they finally gave him the opportunity to do this. So. I hope it works out for him. This looks great. I hope it's as good as the trailers make out.
Very interesting.
A few other trailers, Jamie, that I wanted to bring in. I don't know if you saw it yet, but they released the Power Rangers trailer.
Oh, yeah, I just saw that today.
Yeah. No problem, man. I had literally zero interest in seeing this. I was a kid in the 90s when Power Rangers was really popular. I didn't really care for it too much. I watched it every once in a while, but it wasn't something that I really loved. Yep. So to see it redone, I didn't really give a shit. The thing that it has going for it is so far the way it looks. I like a lot of the camera work. I like the way it looks. And Earl, from Me, Earl and the Dying Girl, I love that actor, and I'm hopeful that he can finally do a new big budgeted breakout role anyway. And I'm not a fan of how the costumes come on, I guess, or the Ranger suits go on at the end, or really the look of Elizabeth Banks quite yet, but I don't really care too much about this property, and so to see this trailer, I was like, yeah, that looks about as good as a Power Rangers movie could be, I guess. Like, I really didn't give a shit about this property, and to see it done like this, I'm like, all right, like whatever.
It has a very weird Chronicle vibe to it, how they discover everything.
Everything's very desaturated too, and looks very kind of.
But, Elizabeth Banks could be she looks more menacing than Rita Repulsa
has ever looked. Yeah, of course.
And her costume, like, she's a lot more sharper points, which makes sense. I guess adds to that vibe. But the Rangers suits are really weird, and it just seems like it's like they're trying to make these different movies. Like the beginning is like this. I can't remember the name of the school. Angel Grove High is so fucking like disparate bastards or no one likes.
Yeah.
And then all of them are in detention to get like Breakfast Club, and all of a sudden they get fucking powers.
Yeah.
It's just weird.
Yeah.
We had a shitty origin story, I think.
Sure.
It looks like, like you said, it would be interesting if it was.
It's like fun. Yeah, I was gonna say. Well, I guess we'll see when they actually release a trailer to show more about it, but
it'll probably do really well internationally.
It could. I'm glad they took out the kitschy, dumb bullshit that a lot of the shows were like. Yeah. So I mean, it could be cool. I don't know. Whatever.
We talked about it last week. I mean, Bill Hader's gonna do the voice of Alpha.
Yes.
I'm cool with that.
But let's move on to our topic for the week, man. Ben Affleck.
Batfleck,
Benifer, whatever you want to go by.
Oh my God, he had so many names.
He's had some highs and he's had some lows. Let's talk about it, Jamie. I'm going to go through his filmography here, and I'm going to determine whether or not you think he has more good or has more bad in his filmography, okay? We're going to try to rattle these off. You can say a few things about them shortly, but let's try to keep this quick, okay? Sure. Let's start off with some of his best earlier work. Dazed and Confused. Yep. Great as the bully. Really good movie. Yep. No one can dispute that. Mallrats. Mm-hmm. Very funny, like, you know what I mean? Like, that movie was critically panned, but I think over time has gained an audience and is now going to be a short series, actually. They're going to do a season of it. Yeah, that's how he's going to move with it. And he's doing that right now.
Nice.
Good Will Hunting won the Oscar for also writing it. He's good in the movie.
His role is okay.
Yeah, no.
Definitely not the lead.
No, not at all. Not at all.
I like what he plays a good role, and he's a good point of the film.
Sure. But, he's fine in the movie, but for writing it and the movie itself, it's a good movie, okay?
It is.
Then he moved on to Chasing Amy, which, in my opinion, is, after Clerks 2, my favorite Kevin Smith movie, right up there. I found that movie so relatable in how it looks at relationships and how sometimes men have these weird, just self-conscious things about them. Like, I felt those feelings sometimes that that Ben Affleck feels in that movie at times. And so it felt very real and emotional to me, and I've always found that movie very enjoyable. And he's really good in it. Was he the bomb in Phantoms, though?
I never saw that.
You never seen Phantoms, dude? He's not in it that much. He's like the sheriff of this town, I remember. This came out, it was like Dean Koontz. It's not a good movie, so we'll put that as a bad, okay? But all right. Armageddon. Mm-hmm. This was his big breakout, like, Hollywood role. Like, after Good Will Hunting, he had been the side character. This is him, big budget movie.
Animal Crackers. Never been sexier.
Oh my God, yes. Liv Tyler, for sure. You know what? Armageddon, while it's cheesy as hell and really dumb, why would you send oil drillers to space? Why wouldn't it be easier to teach astronauts to drill?
A lot of training.
Still a good movie, though.
Yeah.
It's fun.
They wouldn't have that much time.
Shakespeare in Love is a movie I've never seen solely because my father was so angry that it won the Best Picture over Saving Private Ryan that I wouldn't say forbid me from watching it, but he would not. He said, if you ever watch Shakespeare in Love, I'm killing you and disowning you as a son. Or disowning you as a son, then killing you.
Like, what time frame? Like, a month of disownment? Where you're really sad.
No, dude, this would have been like 98. I would have been like 7 or something like that. But yeah, no, I've still never seen this movie. So
some parts of it.
Obviously, if it won Best Picture, we're going to put it as a good movie, okay? Forces of Nature, not a good movie.
Great.
Sandra Bullock.
Great.
Did you ever see that?
I think I did.
He had that one, and he had Bounce. Yeah. Yeah, we're going to put that in the bad. Sorry, Affleck, but I'm not a fan of most of your romantic comedies, I will say. He also did Dogma. Really good.
Very good.
My favorite scene of Dogma, and I think it's my favorite scene Kevin Smith's ever written, is the scene inside of the office where him and Ben Affleck, or Ben Affleck and Matt Damon, are talking to all of the executives at Mubi, and they're going through each of their, like, sins, and I love that scene so much. It's so well written, and they're, like, menacing but charismatic, and it's a really good scene. Like, check it out on YouTube if you haven't seen it in a while. Like, it's really worth watching. All right. Boiler Room, he's in that for a bit. That's kind of a fun movie, right? Mm-hmm. Vin Diesel, Giovanni Ribisi. It's like Wall Street Light.
Yep.
Here's a movie that everyone's going to say is bad, but this guy's going to say is good.
Daredevil?
No.
Oh.
Reindeer Games.
Oh, Reindeer Games
Dude,
is fun.
Reindeer Games is so fun. Like, the plot twists make no sense, and if you rewatch the movie, it doesn't really add all up, but I love how stupid and like it's set during Christmas and like Gary Sinise is ridiculous in it. But yeah, if you haven't seen Reindeer Games, don't look up reviews. Just watch the movie completely cold. Watch the director's cut. It's directed by John Frankenheimer, who did a bunch of really classic action movies from like the 70s. He also did Ronin from like the 90s. Ashton Kutcher, I think's film debut.
Really?
Yeah, he's in there for like one little minute. A bad movie, Pearl Harbor.
Yeah.
Great visuals, some really cool scenes, like the whole actual attack on Pearl Harbor, despite it being like glorified as it is, really technically masterfully done.
Never seen it.
Never seen it? It's really melodramatic
Michael Bay,
and
right?
kind of dumb. Yeah. When the best performer in your movie is Cuba Gooding Jr., you might have an issue. You know what I mean? A movie that I did like, very underplayed, very subtle performance from him is Changing Lanes.
Yeah.
Him and Samuel L. Jackson. Really cool premise, just he's a lawyer, Samuel L. Jackson's a dad, they're on their way to work, both of them crash into each other, and it sets off this chain of events over this day where Samuel L. Jackson can't get to his child support custody meeting, and Ben Affleck can't get to this meeting that he's supposed to do for his lawyer shit, and it kind of like starts to fuck with their jobs, and then they start to fuck with each other. It's really good. It's all set in like 24 hours, and it's just a really good thriller among people.
God, as you were explaining, I'm like, holy fuck, I remember I liked this movie a
Yeah,
lot.
it's a really good movie. Really good movie.
Not as much. Paycheck.
Oh, yeah. That was clearly him just getting one. You know what I mean? That one and Sum of All Fears, he took over the Jack Ryan character,
yeah.
right? Yeah, was not a fan of either of those two movies. This is where he starts to go downhill, right here. Paycheck, then it's Daredevil. What can we say? You know what I mean? What can we say about Daredevil?
It's... that train going, you know where it's going.
I was going to say, we're going to keep on going. Surviving Christmas.
Oh, yeah.
James Gandolfini and Gigli. Gigli is like the pinnacle of terrible. That's the bottom of the barrel. You know what I mean?
What started Bennifer though?
That started Bennifer.
The first Bennifer.
Sure. Yeah, you're right.
J-Lo,
Yeah,
not Garner.
not Jay Gar. After Surviving Christmas, he did Jersey Girl.
Yep.
A lot of people hated this movie. I didn't. I liked that movie.
It wasn't Kevin Smith. But
No,
it's definitely
it's not Kevin
good.
Smith, but it's not your. It's a very typical romantic comedy, but it still has something in it that makes you feel. I guess I can't really describe it. It's like a romantic comedy for guys, like as in like the guys can kind of get behind. George Carlin's pretty good in it. Like yeah, and yeah, like there's it's fine. It's embarrassing, but it's kind of fine. Like it's a guilty pleasure of mine. Then he started doing all these bit roles in movies that were good, and he was pretty good, and he's trying to get some clout back and whatnot before he started directing. So he did movies like Smokin' Aces. He was pretty good in a little side role. I like that movie a lot. Joe Carnahan. Hollywoodland. He played George Reeves.
Who was Superman?
Superman. Extract. He's really funny in a side role.
like that a
Jason
lot.
Bateman,
Jason Bateman,
directed
2009.
by
Mike Judge.
Mike Judge. Yes. That's a really funny one.
Kunis.
Mila Kunis also in there. He also did State of Play with Russell Crowe and Rachel McAdams. That's a cool little political thriller from like 2009 or 10.
watched it.
The Company Men. That's when he come back with a leading role. It's kind of it's okay. It's just a slow character piece, kind of about these guys involved in when the recession happened, kind of the fallout and how their families. It's very unmemorable, but it's a good performance.
Cool.
And then he started directing Gone Baby Gone, The Town, Argo. Those three fantastic movies. Argo won him an Oscar for producing anyway. He then also starred To the Wonder, which I never saw, which was a Terrence Malick
Terrence
flick.
Malick, that's right. Yeah.
Never saw that. Terrence Malick for me is kind of hit or miss every once in a while. I feel like he's a little too artsy-fartsy sometimes. I
always.
just get lost.
Always.
But then he kind of sucked with Runner, Justin Timberlake. He's not bad in that movie. He plays the villain in it. He's not bad. The movie's really bland and just forgettable. But then he knocked it out of the park with Gone Girl. I love that movie.
That's so good.
And he's good in it as a slimy dickhead. And then,
The best part of Batman vs Superman in my mind.
for sure, absolutely.
I'm so excited to see what he does with the Batman solo film.
Yep.
He co-wrote it. He's directing it. It's a very similar, small, like almost like gang fight kind of movie with him and Deathstroke. So it'll be really interesting to see how that goes. I'm excited.
Yep. And he's also got Live by Night coming out in January. So he's got a lot of good stuff coming out. I like Affleck. I think he's a pretty talented
He's only gotten better.
actor-director, and he's only gotten better from the last couple years. So
Yeah. And let us know what you think. What your favorite Ben Affleck roles are. I mean, I know there's some hit misses there, and there's some guilty pleasures, but always good stuff.
don't be ashamed to write Reindeer Games
Or not.
or to get it tattooed on your back.
Julie.
Yeah, absolutely. That's Jamie,
That's Brandon.
and we need movies.